Hey guys, I just wanted to come to you all with a little randomy video, nothing too serious, but we have got to start watching what we do with our kids because I think that broken children reap messed up adults. And I've seen a lot of children who are broken, and not necessarily us as parents. I'm not a parent, but as parents, I don't think you all, I know that you don't mean to do certain things, but I think a lot of things that are done, you don't realize what you're doing. And when you are doing certain things to a child, things really stick with kids. There's things that I remember from being 4 years old. I can still remember it to this day, and I'm 26. Things have a lot of effects on people. People can remember things from years. It's bad because we can remember the negative things that happen in our lives probably more than our positive things. It's I'm not sure if that's like a actual psychological term, but I came up with five, one, two, three, four, five different things that you can do with your kids to keep them open to you and keep them out of trouble and alleviate a lot of issues. So, my number one is probably the most obvious one, which is talk to them. Talk to your kids. You know, I can't stress how important this is. How will you be able to engage with your kids if you don't talk to them? And when I say talk, I don't mean yelling or barking orders at them. That's not talking. Talking is, hey, Bob, how why did I come up with Bob? But hey Susan, how was school today? What did you do? Oh, okay. What about that? You know, I believe that when you do this stuff at a young age, it's a lot easier as they get older to open up to you. You know, I believe so. I believe if you start talking to your kids at a young age and asking them about different stuff and making them feel comfortable to come and talk to you, you won't have that problem when you get older. Unless your kid is just really going through some things that, you know, you need to check up on them anyway because you are their parent. But two, positivity. Be positive with your kids. One thing that I suggest, I did this a lot when I was coming up. I just posted little post-its. I'll just take some of those and I would just write little positive messages on them. Like I would say, Ashley, you are beautiful. Or Ashley, you are talented. You can play the heck out of a trombone. You can, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're creative. Be great, be positive, be amazing. I post Bible scriptures. I do so many things. And that stuff, it sounds silly. It may sound silly to some of y'all, but it's really effective because when things would get me down during the day, when I would get a little frustrated about something that may have happened, I would just I would just reflect on that message that I read to myself that day. And I wouldn't just have it at home. I would have it up in my locker. I would have it, I would just put it in my book bag. Things like that. Just post it in my binder. I definitely put it in like my math binders because I really could not, I still can't, could not stand math. And I really felt like math was like my worst subject. But I would just post that kind of stuff in there and it really got me through a lot of days. And it would have made a bigger difference if it was coming from someone else. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean it made a big difference with me doing it. But if you post positive messages to your kids, I mean it may sound kind of cheesy, but it really can make an effect. It can really do a lot of great things. Even just texting them hey, mommy loves you. Have a great day. Be great. Learn a lot. Don't settle for less. Send them a random text message. I mean, kids, where these kids are now into these cell phones, take advantage of them. Use it. Number three. Number three, I cannot stress this enough, but I can actually relate to this a lot because I was raised as a in a religious house. Do not make your kids feel bad for thinking a certain way or for coming to you and saying something that you don't necessarily agree with. Don't make them feel bad. You can't expect your kid to come to you comfortably and open themselves up to you if you are just going to down what they say. If your kid comes to you and say, "Hey, mom, I really like this boy," and you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can't just shut her off as soon as she says, "I like this boy." Of course she's going to like this boy. She is in puberty. She is having hormones. Of course she's going to like this boy or this girl or whatever. I'm not even going to go into that. But not saying I'm not going to go into that, but I don't want to jump into that. But don't make them feel bad for what they feel. Because once they come to you openly and they say something like that and you shut them down, don't don't expect them to come back and talk to you. Straight up. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be real with you. Because if someone's to shut you down, you're not gonna want to come to that person again because you're already gonna know that that person is gonna be negative towards you. And just think about when you were a kid. You know, I personally, when I was raising my mom, I knew how my mom was. So there were certain things that I didn't say to my mom. To be real, certain things I didn't say to her because I know how she is. I know what would trigger her because I know her. I was raised with her for the past 26 years. So I know there's certain things that I'm not going to say. And, it didn't hurt me because I don't know, I'm a different type of breed, I guess. But there's just certain things that I know that I couldn't go to her about. I mean, now I can because I'm a little older and, doesn't bother me. And I'm like, hey, I'm old now. So the things that used to trigger me because I know I'm in her house and I know that I can't say those kind of things. But B, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with talking to her. And I know that I would hate to basically say something to her and let her down or make her feel like she's less of a mom because I feel this way. So I just want to that to me is probably it should have been number 1 because I see that happen a lot. A lot. You get upset because your kid feels some type of way and then you yell at them or you scold them and make them feel bad for what they're feeling. No, you listen to them. You of course you let them know that okay, if it's something that, it's not acceptable, you say, "Hey, that's not acceptable, but let's work through this. Let's talk about this. Let's see why. Like why do you feel this way?" Engage in conversation with them. If you have a different view, don't impose your view. You want your kid to have a mind of their own, but you want to mold that mind. If you cut them off, they're not going to want their mind molded by you because yours is already molded and they know that you're not going to listen to them because the way you think is the way you think, and that's just where you're going with. Let's be real. Okay, my next thing, I'm actually looking at my phone for these because I didn't want to go off 2 topics. But number 4, keep your kids engaged in different activities. Activities that you know about. Very important. Have you ever heard the saying that the devil plays with idle minds or idle hands? I'm not sure of the exact wording, but that's just the way I remember it. That is really true because when you actually have nothing to do, when you literally go to school, ride the bus, go home. You get into so many things. You got to keep your kids engaged in some activities. Put them in piano, put them in gymnastics, put them in some kind of activity, even if it's something at the local community center where they can feel a part of, something that they can feel like, okay, this is my club, or okay, this is my activity that I can do outside of school, outside of academic John or academic Susan, academic me. I can be me in this club. And don't make it something that you pick. If they don't want to do football and you put them in football, they're not going to enjoy that. Put them in something that they love, or something that they are, if they like to cook, put them in a cooking class. I know that there are certain things, certain clubs that are out there that you don't necessarily have to pay for. So that's another thing. Um, Another thing on top of that one, I know a lot of you may say, well, okay, well, I'm a single parent, Ash, and I don't have money to put my kids in all these little extracurricular things. That's fine too. But there's a lot of free programs out there. Go to the YMCA. Go on Craigslist. Craigslist does have a lot of little faultiness to it, but Craigslist has a lot of great things on it. Look it up sometimes. Look up lessons for kids. Look up things of that nature. I'm sure you can find something. And if you need help with that, feel free to contact me because I can help you out with that. That's not an issue. I stayed in band from elementary school to college, and it kept me out of a lot of problems. Me in comparison to other kids who literally they would go to class, go to school, go home. In comparison to me, where I went to school, went to band practice, it kept me engaged in something. When those kids that didn't have anything to do, those are the kids I was getting into issues. Those are the kids that were having boyfriend girlfriend problems and doing all these other things that they had no business doing, when honestly I was busy. I didn't have time to be in those kind of situations. So that's definitely something to think about too. In chorus and band, so it definitely was a great thing for me, because one thing I cannot stand is to be bored. I have to have my hands in something. I'm just that type of person. I have to be engaged with something. I cannot just go through life and just be stuck. I can't. It bothers me. I can't. And I know there's a lot of people like that. And your kid might be one of them. Number 5, the most important, be there for your kids. Be there for them. If your kid comes home crying because Johnny didn't ask her to the 5th grade dance, hold her in your arms, brush her hair, take her out to the movies, be there for him. And I know that, you know, yes, I understand that we have that economy now where we're busy, and, especially if you have like a single parent home, even if you have a double parent home and y'all just don't have money, or y'all just work all the time, you got to find some kind of opportunity to be there for your kids. If you're not there for them, who do you think's going to be there for them? People who don't have your kids' best interests at heart. And it may be kids that are their age who are having an effect on them, and they're doing it when you're not around. Ooh, sorry, got the hiccups. My bad. But be there for your kids, man. You don't understand. Engage in the kids' school. Oh my goodness. This got to be another video. But I'm just going to briefly touch on it right now. Those teachers who know that the parent is not going to be there for their kids, if those are, there's a lot of teachers like that out here, but I was one of them. There's a lot of teachers who honestly are there just to get a paycheck. They're burnt out, they're tired. If you're not engaged in your kids' school, they're not going to be engaged either. I mean that. I mean that with all honesty. I've seen it. I've seen it. Oh, I know Johnny's parent ain't gonna trip, so I know that Johnny don't care and his mama don't care, so I don't care. I've seen teachers like that, and it's sad. It really is, but that's something to think about too. Be engaged in your kid's school. Go up to that schoolhouse, sit in your kid's class. Yeah, the kid may hate it, but shoot, it will pay off, y'all. You have got to be in these kids' lives. Be there for your kids, okay? So that's my 5 tips for parents. I'm not a parent myself, but you know, I've been around a lot of kids. I've taught for some years. I work with kids and I've seen it all the time. I see it. And I don't have to be a parent to understand that. I work with enough kids to know. So before we come down in my little comment box and start bashing me because I'm not a parent, please think about that too. I'm a classroom teacher and I've been around and worked with many kids. Okay? So, what are your tips? If you have some tips, put them down there. Let's bring this community. Let's build up each other as a community. Okay? So that's enough for me. Hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you in the next video. As always, peace, love, and hair grease. Bye, y'all.